In this video, I hope to explain how to be a sacred witness. So when you're listening with empathy, the idea is to listen for your understanding of how the other person feels. When listening with empathy, your role is to listen with understanding of how the other person feels. One of my dear friends of 15, 16 years came to visit me when we had the sun and moon square to Chiron. And she had been up crying. And with empathy, I wanted to let her feel her feelings and provide sacred witness. One of the things that she said to me, and I thank her profoundly for saying these words, is that in the instant world that we now live of instant information, instant feedback from social media of someone who likes or reacts to your post, everything is so instant now that we may be losing some of our skills of really listening as a sacred witness to feel and allow that person to feel what they feel. So what she said was that she's becoming increasingly frustrated about whether humanity will really be able to be witness and listen deeply to one another. So try this in your life. Start to role play with someone. Let them say everything that is in what's called their dirty laundry. So you can say, tell me about all of your dirty laundry. And let them complete the full statement of what happened. Maybe they cried. What were their feelings? Let them complete the full statement. And when they do that, you can either sit and feel the feeling and just look into their eyes, but make sure that they've had a very long time to complete the statement. Don't assume that they're finished saying what they have to say. Keep looking in their eyes and knowing that you are listening. Maybe there's a little bit more, so you could say, is there anything else? And wait, like that. How did you sleep last night? And wait, like that. Let the person that you love and that you are embodying love, right, say whatever they need to say without fixing it, without trying to fix it. So that's the second piece. When you're listening, don't listen with ways to solve it. The sacred witness is just listening. They're empathizing. They're playing the role of trying to feel what that person must feel as if you were standing in their shoes. And let them feel what they feel. Now the next piece is there's a painting by one of my daughters behind me. The next piece is to not necessarily praise or negate the feelings or the offering or the art piece that someone wants to share with you. So when I was a teacher, there was this need to respond. That's good. Wow, that's beautiful. Now, with the art piece behind me, my daughter was told that that was not acceptable because a self-portrait could not have cat ears. And she refused to change it, so she put that art piece forward. And she didn't care about what her grade was. She needed to express herself. And she told me recently, when we were having a conversation on the phone, that it's not art if you cannot say what you really need to say. And let that sink in. It's not art if you cannot say what you really need to say. Let the art be art. We don't have to even praise it. Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at this. Eyes, they're so expressive. Nor do we have to negate it. Well, I really would not have used brown cat ears coming out of the top of your head. And geez, are you wearing any clothes? I don't think that's appropriate. Right? Stand and observe and feel what that person is feeling. And you could say, what were you feeling when you drew that? Tell me about what inspires you. And listen. What else went into that painting? And breathe deeply. And if they cry, maybe you can feel that. If they laugh with a belly laugh, maybe you can feel that. Now, when you're doing sacred witness, you don't necessarily have to add your experience of what you would have painted. Or the way you slept last night, or what your current reactions are. Because in sacred witness, you are just listening to understand the other person. And sometimes what you can do is you can reflect back as closely as you can, paraphrase what they just said. You cried all night last night. Now, I'm not with this person, so I'm kind of making it up right now, but reflect back what they just said. And don't try to fix it and say, oh, let's be happy now. Today's a new day. Let them express what they want to express. Let them make the art that they need to make. I'm going to show you that if we always try and make it better and fix it and make it positive and make it good and add our own advice, how that affects the culture of our beingness, to not just provide sacred witness, but to try and modify somehow the expression. So here's my daughter's U.S. history folder. And there's a girl with a rose, the sun and the moon, a skull, a lamplight, and a young man doing graffiti. Now, if I were the teacher and this were to be the U.S. history folder, I would just find that expression authentic. And I might ask questions. Tell me about the rose that the girl is holding. I see that her eyes are closed. I see that there is lamplight. So the observation, when you are getting the information going and you want to provide sacred witness, the observation, to the best of your ability, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it, is just saying what you observe, what is. And not putting smirks or like horror, but just observing. And in that way, a child can really express their feeling about U.S. history. And then, when you really let a child express their feelings about U.S. history without negating it or trying to make it positive or saying that isn't really how U.S. history has any, little girls with roses in their hands have nothing to do with U.S. history, which I was told in college when I did a report from Margaret Mead, and it was called Boys to Men. And it was negated. And that's how, when we negate the feelings of the children who are really looking into something, we continue to have the culture that we have. Now, what's inside the U.S. History Journal? No assignments. Pills in a bottle. Tell me about the pills in the bottle. Tell me about the wound in the throat. Were you able to express yourself? Were you able to say what you really want to say about U.S. history? And I know this sounds leading right now, but I'm not sitting with that person. So I am not tuning in to how the person feels or what they might need to say. You have to really listen and empathize and feel what they feel before you start questioning. I'm just giving you some ideas. But you don't have to make it positive, and you don't have to make it negative and say you shouldn't be drawing that. And you don't have to say, oh, well, maybe there's a nicer picture that we can make for U.S. history. The important part is our culture can change and will change, I believe, if we start really listening to the children and really listening to each other and let them express exactly what they want to express. Art is not art if there are parameters and limitations. Critical thinking, which is part of the necessity of looking at U.S. history, is not critical thinking if we have to make it a certain way, if we have to make it nice and nationalistic. Let the children's voices be heard. Let our friends and family express themselves. So review this video a few times and add your own understanding of how important it is for us to listen completely with empathy and silence to what people have to say right now, the innermost feelings, even if they are guilt and shame and grief and despair and fear or paralysis Maybe there's nothingness. Because this year is going to be the hero and heroine's journey. This year is going to make us really get to the core of things. And I believe that this sacred listening will help as we are on the heroine's journey. I also want to point out that I have received an email from Tom Min, and I cannot open it in my email because she's from a country that my email will not open from. So Tom Min, I am here to provide sacred witness for you. And just know that I cannot open my email right now or respond to you. So that is an externalization right there of those shadow pieces of us where I cannot respond right now. I am providing sacred witness to everyone. And if you want to have a consultation and you don't necessarily want me to talk about your chart, but you need to tell me everything that's going on for you, I will provide sacred witness. I will listen. So with that, I will close for now. And if you don't have someone immediately to listen, write in your journal, dive deep, let the feelings come out. Much love to you.